Today on Which Ship, we're going to be comparing the Freelancer Max versus the Constellation Taurus and see which one we think can do a better job of getting those cargo runs done. Let's get to it. Greetings everyone and welcome to another episode of Which Ship. This week we're comparing two ships of relatively close price range, the Constellation Taurus versus the Freelancer Max. Now, Lightning Dragon here has a Constellation Taurus and I own a Freelancer Max, so we're going to duke it out here and see what's what, and see who's
My
king
ship
of
is bigger.
Your ship is definitely bigger. That is there. I will not argue that point. I will give you that one. You straightforward will win that argument. So the price point of these is really close, and Lightning's of the idea that the Taurus is a superior ship. Let's take a look at it here and see how wrong he is. I mean, see if he's wrong or not.
I still think it's a direct upgrade.
You may be right. It comes down to one factor we'll get into here in just a minute in a large respect. So the Freelancer Max is about a third of the weight, give or take. Let's just say closer to let's just say closer to half of the weight of the Constellation Taurus. That's giving it a lot more weight. And it says here it only carries about half as much as the Taurus, but having walked around the model in my hangar, I don't think that's entirely accurate. I would say it probably carries closer to 2/3 of the amount of the Taurus. Now, that could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. It still could be half. But we'll have to see what the final models come out. Because right now they still are revamping the Taurus's model and, of course, the Freelancer's model. So, in that regard,
everything is always in flux forever.
That's in the air, yeah. And, of course, the Taurus does carry significantly more firepower than the Freelancer. At least on the energy weapons. Physical weapons, it carries a lot more missiles with their size 1s. The Freelancer Max carries size 2s and 3s or whatnot, I think. And that's still kind of in the air, too, because it's got some really big missiles.
Doesn't the Constellation class have more missiles, though? Like,
it does.
Volume?
No, it does. It's got a massive amount of missiles, but it's got basically 28 size 1s on the Taurus, which is it's got those missile rack on it.
Yeah.
But the thing is that and where the Freelancer Max has basically
several large missiles.
It carries basically. This is where the information gets kind of weird right now. It says 2 size 3s. Which I know
it's not. It's probably like 4 to 6.
Yeah, these stat sheets aren't very up to date. So looking at this is one of those things that when you're looking at the Constellation series, how they said they wanted to make it so that like you could switch off basically
the
turret placements, but also the cockpit in and of itself. They talk about how you could take the normal front, put the Aquila front on it, and things like that. So there's gonna be some modifications I think you're gonna be able to do with the ship to bring it up.
You can more customize it
right.
in larger, broader terms.
Right.
Where with the Freelancer class of ships, we can replace the CPU and we can replace the video card, but we can't put it in a new body.
So we don't know that now. What if you can put the DUR sensors on and the extended fuel tanks?
You wouldn't want to put the DUR sensors on.
Well,
it looks too stupid.
Or the fuel tank. Well, I don't want the chin boobs. It's just saying there. This is the rest of it. But how about the extended fuel tanks? Things like that. So we're not sure what's going to be able to attach from the other variants or what's going to work on these yet.
But aren't the fuel tanks part of the quote unquote pylon slot? So you could ditch your missiles and have extra fuel.
Great. So I ditch my missiles for things that explode on my wings.
Well,
no, I don't know. I don't know.
In reality, you drain from the drop tanks first, so they're empty and they don't blow up.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but we don't know what kind of modifications or what parts we can pull from other ships. But if you can, on that assumption, then I think the Constellation Taurus would have to win in this regards because it is also pulling from an exploration ship. It can pull from the Aquila.
It has a combat ship.
And I guess if it really wants to, you could put the hot tub from the Phoenix in the back. Somewhere in the cargo bay. I know. I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna get stupid about it, but
where are you gonna put the hot tub, in the cargo bay?
Exactly. Yeah, you just drop it down. I can see the cargo bay comes down a plant. And there's a dude sitting in the hot tub. Unload it, boys.
And then you have the car or a motorcycle or something. You just get out of the hot tub, jump on the bike, and start exploring.
I can just see all this, like, it's just
Beach Planet.
Oh, it's just the visuals. Sometimes you think about stuff like that. So yeah, the Freelancer. What I like about it is it's a smaller body. It's a smaller sig, which means I think you have to be closer to detect it. Which means if you're trying to smuggle, it might be a better option in that regards. They looks like they list both of the engines that are on the Connie and on the Freelancer as size 4s. In that regard, yeah.
I see TR5s.
Oh, sorry, TR5s. I meant 4 times
There's
TR5s.
4 of them.
4 of them.
They both have 4 engines, but there's a difference of mass. Right. So the Freelancer is most likely going to be faster off the line.
Yes, it will accelerate faster, and that's another factor. But the biggest factor of all this, weaponry, carrying capacity, everything. The one that makes or breaks this for me is jump points. Now, if the Freelancer Max take the small jump points, and we don't know this yet, if it can take the small jump points where we know the Connie's not going to be able to.
Yeah, it's pretty much stated.
It's going to take mediums and larges. Now, the Freelancer can take the smalls because it's more maneuverable, or however they manage to make it work. Then these, in my opinion, these ships are just preference. Because if you can if he and I are going to the same place, but it takes him 2 jumps to get to the same place that I can do in 1 because I have a different route, and I can get there and pick up cargo and come back. Now, if anything, Lightning and I agree on is just not XP per kill or money per kill. It's XP or money per hour. So in that regards, you'll be able to do more runs faster, and a ship like the Freelancer Max would become ideal. But if they say that the Freelancer Max can only take medium, the same thing as the Taurus, then I would say spend the $10, upgrade to the Taurus, and just go for it. Because then there is, in my opinion, a clear advantage to having the Taurus. So I mean, when that comes out, if they say that the Freelancer does not work on the small, I will be upgrading it. I mean, we'll both be flying Tauruses side by side for cargo runs.
Hero.
Right on the outside edges of my brother's Caterpillar. Who will be flying awesome. In the middle. The video they had on that, man. Anyway, so we'll get that another time. But anyway, so as far as I'm concerned, generally speaking, I would recommend on my end, if you are looking at a ship, to get the Freelancer Max and wait, because right now there's no downgrade. Okay,
yeah.
So wait to see what the jump is. And if that becomes a mitigating factor, or they're the same, they're both mediums, just get the Taurus. But otherwise, if you could just downgrade with your on the store, then I would say probably just get the Taurus.
Which is weird that they don't give you store credit. I mean, they already have the money.
Yeah. Well, what I'm just saying is that basically that's. I mean, you could melt it and then have $10 floating around. But if you're looking at trying to be as exact as possible, that's what I would do, because you can all the way up to the release. You can always just spend the extra $10 and just go the rest of the way. Anyway, guys, hope that gave you some input on what we think about these 2 ships, and I guess we'll have to see when they add a second system in, when we first have that jump capability, exactly what these ships are capable of.
I imagine the first jump point is probably going to be a medium, just to encompass everything.
Right. It might be a while before we find out. So
yeah, it might just be like all ships can use this jump point.
Yeah, maybe CIG will let us know sometime in the future. But whenever we know, that will be the tiebreaker, in my opinion. Right now, to me, they're both equally valuable for the most part. On the assumption,
the Taurus is definitely going to be harder to destroy. It's got better shields, more energy, and better weaponry. But I mean, if you're trying to make money faster and you can go through those small jump points, that's going to make a big difference.
Right, and that's where the wash is. So we'll have to see where that goes with that, and then make a decision. So tentatively speaking, I'm going to have to say the Taurus on this, even though I own a Freelancer Max, but that's pending. That's pending based upon...
There's one more thing, too. Crew, right? I mean...
Well,
if you hire NPCs, you're going to be cutting into your profit margins a little bit more with the Taurus because.
True. And while a freelancer is technically speaking a 2-man craft, you don't need really anyone else to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can definitely see that. So that's definitely a factor. But the same thing goes with a Taurus too. If you don't want anyone manning your turret, then you're still 1-man craft.
Because you only have the one turret in the stock configuration. So if you spend the extra money to get the lower turret, which they've said, the turrets, the hard points on the body, you're never removed, but it's most likely removed just to save like production cost, right?
Yeah.
Well, we just won't install the lower turret, but all the mounting and stuff is there. It's just like, blocked off.
Well, I guess we'll have to see. Lots of stuff up in the air, guys. But I'm gonna have to give this one to his Taurus, and that's perfectly fine because if it comes down to it, I'll just pitch $10 at the game and go the rest of the way.
I'm sure you have it somewhere.
I'm sure I have $10 somewhere. That's why I work. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye bye. Today on the Blastcast, we discuss the Herald, the upcoming Cutlass and Connie revamps, and a few other fun things. This week on the Blastcast. Let's get to it.